Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. So today I have kind of a funny video. So basically what happened in this game is that I was playing against the person who in the previous game, so 2 games before this, I was playing top lane, I was autofill, he was playing jungle, he went 0-8 on jungle, and I was 5-2, and the rest of my team, this whole total scoreline of the team was 8-22. So basically we kind of carried this game, but we lost because he was kind of feeding. And then what happened in the game after that is I had him on my team again, but this time I was jungle and he was top lane. And then he said, give me jungle. And then I said, no, you went 0-8 in my last game. I'm not going to give you jungle. And then he was like basically talking about how it wasn't his fault and whatever, which I thought was pretty funny. And so then we played that game when I was on his team, and I went 12-1 and carried him in a game where he was losing lane at the start of the game, and which I thought was pretty funny as well. And then I match against him here, and he's the jungler, and he target banned my Wukong when I was playing Wukong. And so basically what I want to go through here in this game is to mostly show you guys kind of how a lot of these players don't even realize the things they're doing wrong, and they'll genuinely think that they're doing nothing wrong. And I kind of want to show you guys like a lot of the common mistakes that these types of players will make, because he's 800 games, 50 points, like 8% win rate, grandmaster player who clearly, obviously his win rate would be higher and he wouldn't be hard stuck if he was better, and yet he'll still think it's not really his fault. So the first mistake he makes, he level 4 ganks on a Mumu. You don't level 4 gank on a Mumu, you have to wait till level 5, otherwise your champion's extremely weak. So what happens after he does that? He dies because he's playing into a champion that's way stronger pre-level 5 than him, which is Xin Zhao, and he should expect me to path this way, because why would I path towards my Malphite into a Gwen? That's a bad matchup for Malphite. Gwen's a hard champion to gank, and Malphite has no gank set up pre-level 5, and he wouldn't be level 5 as I got to the lane, because that's just how the levels work. So really funny that that's how the game starts off after, the way the guy was flaming. And again, I really am not like here to actually flame the guy. I just think it's kind of funny, and so I wanted to make a video on it and show you guys a lot of the mistakes that a lot of these kind of let's say egotistical players will have or will make. And then here I completely mess up. You're gonna see I end up ulting way too late. So complete int that, really bad play by me, and so don't get me wrong, I make mistakes too, even in these games, but I just thought it was funny, how that was how the game started. And so if I had used my ult properly, we would have ended up getting more kills there. But instead, because we know that their jungler was, pathing the same way as us, we know we can double scuttle him because he clearly hasn't gotten the scuttle yet. And then you're going to see he ends up waiting for a very long time, and I know that his camps are up because of the fact that my camps on the top side are up, and we both started on my top side of the map. So we can kind of tell that, right, these camps will be up. And so what do? We get multiple free camps because he wasted a lot of time on that gank going back. Even after he died, he went back instead of just going and farming his camps and trying to get a gold lead. So even though he's playing the fastest jungle clear champion in all of Wild Rift with a Mumu, he's still really slow on his clear, falling very behind in gold. And again, going for those ganks on level 4 when he's a level 5 ganking champion who has a fast clear speed, who can easily get to level 5. And so because of that, we're able to get a very big early gold lead, 2 scuttles, already steal 2 of his camps, and then go steal or go take all of our camps as well. So I'm just extremely accelerated in the game on a champion who relies pretty heavily on getting gold. So just overall, a pretty good start for me here. Obviously we got the first blood as well. So what's that? That's 450 gold from the first blood that he didn't get. That's 300 gold we denied from him that we got from his camps, and then we're faster on our camp clear here as well. So we already have like basically an 1,000 gold lead in the early game. And that is probably the most common thing that will happen with these types of jungle players, is they'll force a lot of ganks early and get mad at their teammates if the ganks don't work out. But the reality is you don't want to be forcing ganks on timers where your champion's not strong, or where you have other things that you could be doing with your time, such as farming camps, because that lack of efficiency is going to lead to a very large gold gap later in the game, which you're going to see. Again, I'm already up 1,500 gold. We can see he's probably, gotten a little bit from his camps at this point that we haven't seen on the map, but I'm up over 1,000 gold, and then I can farm all my camps, and then I can recall. And then where am I going to go objective wise? So what I want to do is go towards the Herald. Unfortunately, my Malphite just flashed under a tower and died, so he's obviously not very strong right now, but in my mind, because I'm so strong, I can still go Herald, and so I'm going to contest Herald. It would make the most sense as the Amumu to probably want to contest Herald, because your Gwen's actually relatively strong compared to my Malphite. So if you're the Amumu, you should definitely be thinking, I want to go on the Dragon, or the Herald rather. I want to try to find a fight on Herald instead of playing towards the bottom lane, who weren't really doing very well because the bottom lane again already died. in the past, but instead he ganks bottom lane. So again, another mistake in terms of the choice of the objective that he goes for. And because they go for the wrong objective, we're able to easily get this Herald, which is going to accelerate our gold lead even further. And if I'm not mistaken, he also hasn't farmed his camps on the red side of the map. So he also has red side camps that I'm about to invade. I don't remember 100%. I'm pretty sure that's what happens. Yeah, so he also has red side camps, as you can see. And so that's another mistake made by the jungle once again, not clearing his camps before the objective spawns, which he could have done again if he was more efficient. And so now we're able to easily get a bunch of this turret as well. So we drop the Herald mid. We get a bunch of the top turret as well because, again, they're wasting way too much time on the wrong side of the map, playing around their weak side. Again, remember the Gwen is who their strong side was, and Gwen hard counters Malphite, and yet he still didn't play around that. Now, the reason I played for my Malphite despite him being behind is because I was strong enough where I thought I can still possibly fight, but he had no way of knowing which objective I would actually go for, and that was his point of strength, so he definitely should have played around that. Shout out to that Malphite ultimate. And then now Amumu shows up late, but he's down so much gold to me that we're able to get the kill. Unfortunately, I die to the Victor, but we still, you know, the fight still goes very well overall. Then we go for Mercury Treads, and second item here, they're relatively tanky, so I'm kind of thinking I might want Cleaver, but then I end up going Sundered Sky, because the Sundered Sky healing and everything on Xin Zhao is just like kind of too good to pass up on. But yeah, you can see we're already up 2k gold again through a lot of that lack of efficiency. So if you guys are, you know, a master grandmaster jungle player, I wouldn't be surprised if you make similar mistakes, which again are not ganking on your power spikes, right? Like again, a Mumu level 5, for example. You know, focusing more on efficiency rather than focusing on ganking a lot, especially in solo queue games. You know, ganking a bunch is usually not going to be the ideal thing, right? It's just usually not going to work out. So you only really want to gank when you see really guaranteed ganks or when you have nothing else to do with your time. So like those are definitely some of the main mistakes, and then not playing around your key laner, like your laner is actually doing well. So in this case, again, his Gwen was doing well, didn't play around him. Because of that, he really has no chance of winning, and now my Malphite's actually really accelerated, really strong, because I was able to get a bunch of that turret as well. And then notice again how when I was ganking, right, what did I do? I got a bunch of turrets out of the gank. So after I ganked on top side, I just went and took that turret, you know, with the Herald. Or actually, I didn't even gank. I just went there and took the turret because Gwen, you know, wasn't there. And so, like, playing around these turrets as well, that's, like, another really important thing. And then here again, we're just able to easily follow up. I was farming and then went for the gank, whereas Amumu, again, he just instantly went for the gank. And so not only did he lose out on the kill because, you know, I'm just stronger, so I'm able to win the fight, but he also loses out on his farm. You can see his Gromp is still up there. I didn't end up invading it, but I could have definitely, and then I do here, right? So you can see how that lack of farming as well is also coming back to bite him, where I'm getting tons of invades off because he's just really inefficient. I'm still able to catch up to him on these ganks because I'm so far ahead at this point that when I gank, it's actually going to work out. When he ganks, you know, he's just too weak to really do that much. And here we try to kill Blitz, but, you know, probably a bit overzealous. And at this point, we're on 2 items, so we can just recall after we farm our Gromp. And we're going to be in a really good spot, of course. So that's really mostly what we're focusing on again, is just the efficiency thing, which is just so important, you know, for junglers in general. And a lot of junglers don't really realize that. So definitely something to keep in mind. You can see how we're getting a lot of value from that. And because of that, now we've cleared our red side. We're going to go back towards the blue side, because typically you just want to make sure that you're covering, or you're on whatever lane, you know, is going to have your next camps up. And then I end up going for the wave because I see that, you know, my Malphite wasn't here. And I'm always happy to take wave gold once it's past 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, my bad. Not sure what happened, but the file like randomly stopped working. I don't know. But either way, going for the wave gold, as I was kind of speaking about before, this is actually a really good play from Amumu, camping there, expecting a gank. As long as he had already cleared his camps, you know, that is the correct play that he should have made. Luckily, all of my healing and the fact that, again, we'd farmed so much more efficiently than the Amumu means that we're still perfectly fine and able to somehow live and nearly kill him here. He does end up living with the Gargoyle, and we're like 1 HP. But yeah, I mean, that was actually a pretty good play. So shout out to him for that decision. If he'd expected me, you know, if he was tracking my jungle properly. Now, if we look at it, his blue is spawning in 10 seconds, so he probably should have been on his blue side realistically. And you can see how, like, every once in a while, those types of unexpected plays will work out, playing for the gank. But even, you know, when he goes for it, it doesn't work out that well because he'd farmed so poorly in the past that he's just down so much gold that I'm still able to, you know, with pretty much the worst possible scenario, almost just carry that fight, you know, and still get a kill out of it just because of how much stronger I am. Like, that's why farming is just so much more important than making the perfect play mechanically or anything like that. Because again, he's at 6k gold, 9.5 minutes into the game, 10 minutes into the game. I'm 1k gold per minute. So he's literally 600 gold per minute. I'm 1k gold per minute. I've had every single minute of this game, I've gotten 400 more gold on average than him. Like, that is how much, you know, more efficient I am. And it's like, okay, maybe they'll get a dragon or maybe they'll get something random, but like, that doesn't matter to me. And then notice, you know, the patience in this fight. We're not going to immediately go in. We're going to wait for our Malphite. We notice Malphite's not quite yet here. And so we're just kind of chilling out, and then once Amumu goes forward, we end up ulting to isolate the Amumu. And again, because I'm so strong, I can go in, I can click my Gargoyle if I need to, and we can win the fight pretty easily at this point. You can kind of see my damage, right? On to everyone here, and yeah, again, just that patience in that fight means that we're going to pretty easily be able to win that. Unfortunately, Kai'Sa does kind of pop off there, so they get some amount of value, but we have our Swain now coming to flank, and then we can just go run into Kai'Sa, and it's pretty straightforward from here. And I am just way too, you know, strong for her to really deal with much, deal with me. And then, you know, we just get the invade off, and now we go for the dragon. I'm building Ma this game because they have a lot of AP. They have a Mumu, Victor, Gwen, and Kai'Sa does some magic damage with her passive as well. So just makes sense here to go Ma. Makes me very, very tanky. And, you know, since we're so ahead as well, having some amount of defensive kind of, you know, itemization is going to help out a lot. And then again, because this jungle is really inefficient, we're able to get more and more invades off just because he's constantly not farming his camps. And again, it's really funny because Amumu is literally like the fastest jungle clear in Wild Rift. Maybe like a couple are faster, like maybe Morgana or something. But pretty much like the fastest, if not, you know, one of the fastest jungle clears. And so that's the type of champion where you have to take advantage of the fact that you can clear a lot, use those clears, and then after you clear is when you look for these additional ganks. Because the faster your jungle clear is, the more time you're going to have to gank, of course, right? But you don't want to use that time incorrectly. Like, you'd rather use that time after you've spent your gold, after you're stronger, after you've leveled up, all these types of things, right? And so here, again, we're going to recall now, spend our gold, go for the Twin Guard 4th item, just to get a bit more tanky, right? Because we already have a bunch of damage. Malphite somehow killed here. Really don't know how he did. Shout out to Malphite for that. And then again, just farming up towards wherever we want to gank. So I want to go topside, but I'm farming towards that. And then here we see an angle to maybe rotate quick. But even there, it's like, if I really need to, could have gone, you know, it's fine to go right. But even in this type of situation, could have just stuck on a camp as well. And it's like, then I'd still be able to come right after. We are able to do pretty well in this fight, of course, because I am, again, just 2 levels up on the Amumu at this point. Up like 4k gold. And that's just going to allow me to, even if I'm in a fight late, I'm able to do, you know, so much when I get to that fight. So it's just kind of, it's not always about being the first one there. It's about being there when it actually matters, being there, you know, with proper gold, with enough strength, all that type of thing. And then we go on to the Victor here as well, because he decides that he wants to try to stop us from getting that Baron. But we obviously don't let him do that. And so now, field for them, pretty straightforward to get the Baron at this point. And I mean, with how fed I am as well, like, my damage is pretty absurd, so it's pretty easy to play. Focusing the Baron rather than the Gwen because it's so low at this point. Might as well just get the Baron out of it, and then we can fight the Gwen after. Making sure that I actually see it go below 800, because Gwen can't smite, you know, 800 that quickly. So like, I'm not going to be worried about like panicking or anything. A lot of people, when there's someone there, they might like panic and then Gwen might steal it. If you're into, you know, champions who don't have insanely high like damage abilities, like, you know, obviously like Lux or Varus might steal it when it's past or when it's above 800. But a champion like Gwen's not going to do that. So with Gwen, just make sure I actually see the number go below 800 and then smite. You know, it doesn't have to be a perfect smite. Just got to make sure I don't accidentally smite when it's like 900 and then, you know, Gwen does a 100 damage ability or something like that. Because that is kind of a way people commonly throw. And then again, just farming towards where we want to gank. Instead of ganking right away, we go and we farm first. And do we really lose anything? No. Like, I'm still going to kill this Kai'Sa. I'm still 2 levels up on her. Nobody can really kill me at this point. She barely deals damage to me. She kind of tickles me, honestly. Like she just doesn't deal damage. Like, she was autoing me for a while there, and I'm just way too fed at this point. And then I believe the enemy FF. I might be wrong about that, but I feel like they FF soon. But yeah, basically just the lack of efficiency, the lack of ganking on proper timers leads to a low elo jungler like this guy. I mean, I guess he's Grandmaster, but, you know, low elo in my eyes, I guess, because I have a big ego. Leads to just really easy games, right? Because I, as a jungler, can just completely out farm them, get ahead, and even if their ganks do work out, it doesn't really matter, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be so far ahead that I'm usually going to be able to carry through it anyways. It looks like they didn't FF. Looks like we just end the game or something like that here. Because we just have, you know, all the turrets, all the minions with Baron, everything up. Focus on the top wave, making sure we get that push to make sure we have the inhib, and then go in afterwards. Rather than, again, focusing on the fight. Like, there's so many times where I'm focusing on turrets, on waves, on camps, rather than on a fight or anything like that. And at this point, you know, again, pretty straightforward. Amumu dies once again. Shout out to him for dying. And then we're just going to end the game here. So yeah, basically just thought this was kind of a funny video to show you guys me basically carrying someone who inted on my team and then got mad at me for playing the role I was assigned. And so yeah, just kind of showing the difference between a high elo jungler and a lower elo jungle, really. I guess is the main thing I kind of wanted you guys to get out of this video. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.